Alright, after careful calculation, lots of work, I realized I got nothing. So, I think tech is a very complex thing to change. I've been thinking a lot about how to balance tech and make them more consistent with other units around their power level. This is what I've come up with. When we're looking at changing tech, we need to look at what their win condition is in order to make a better informed decision on what we should change. In a lot of games, economy will be a limiting factor that prevents you from spamming the super units. But in CNC Rivals, the economy is always scaling up, so you'll just never run out of money, even in the late game. Building 2 harvesters doesn't really have an opportunity cost to it, as long as you can stall the pads. Even losing the harvester doesn't really carry any punishment to it. Adding a punishing mechanic for losing your harvester could be a solution, however, I think it carries the potential for other problems to be introduced, like a harvester camping meta, or even a meta that favors specific aggro units. And even then, harvester aggression favors whoever has the higher level units. So the main conceit of any tech deck is to get to late game. In the late game, your economy is going to be so much better, you're going to get so much more Tiberium per second. So to achieve that, we want to stall the missile as long as possible. Once it's clear that you can't stall the missile anymore effectively, I think it's a good time to transition to harvester, but still try to stall as much as you can beyond that. So the 2 easiest fixes I see for fixing Tiberium scaling in the late game are to 1. Put an upper limit on the maximum amount of Tiberium that can be harvested per second, or 2. To limit how much Tiberium is in each patch. Limiting how much Tiberium is in each patch puts an artificial timer on the game, so if tech can't win by a certain point, they're just going to run out of money and they're going to be ineffective. The downside of this type of change is that your harvester is going to have to move more often in order to find a new patch of Tiberium, and this can make it so there are more lulls in the game, there are more periods where you need 10 more Tiberium and you're just not getting it, and it's a little bit more jarring. Also, it means that tech is going to be very, very inconsistent overall, depending on how little Tiberium there actually is. So the easiest change I think they can do is to cap the upper limit of how much Tiberium you can harvest per second. What this means is Tiberium won't scale out of control in the late game, and that it will serve an actual purpose to limit how many units you can actually make. Tech is often just so strong that it can make several trades in value that are very advantageous. You often don't have to spend any money as a result. This type of change is aimed at making it so tech players have to get good value with their tech and push down their opponent within a certain window, or risk their opponent getting similar economy on one harvester and ultimately coming back into the game in relevance. The ultimate goal of this change is to keep it simple, but also allow an avenue for back and forth dynamics of trading and outplaying. What this change won't do is it won't affect how early tech comes out. However, what it will do is it will change the amount of tech that can come out after that. It will prevent tech from being spammed as much in the late game. Throwing out some mock numbers now, I'd say around like 130, the economy should reach its critical mass. So currently 2 harvesters provides 8.5 Tiberium per second, around 1 minute and 30 seconds. So this is where it should cap out. You won't see any changes at this point. 8.5 seems to be an amount that would limit the speed at which tech comes out, but it wouldn't really impact overall how much comes out. 8 Tiberium per second, however, would have an impact on how much tech is coming out. Tech is a pretty weak early game, so I don't think that's a proper place to target. Tech needs to be impactful, otherwise no one will ever run it. You're gimping yourself early game in order to put it in your deck. That's why I think changes should be aimed at starving ineffective use of tech in the late game. Ideally, the type of change we would see is a complete tech overhaul, so tech has lower stats, and this is because it allows more of a back and forth dynamic. Unfortunately, tuning 15 different units is a long-term project that's going to take a lot of trial and error and adjustments just to get right. So I think this is a good short-term solution until that time. Do you think the Tiberium limit should be lower? Do you think it should be higher? Go ahead and let us know down below. You can subscribe to see more future content on CNC Rivals, or you can follow me over on Twitch under the name Homeboy. Links down below, and I will catch you on the flip side, boys.